By the way, my special election win created a few firsts. I was the first African American on the Waltham City Council, first woman councillor in my ward, and first Ugandan American to hold public office in the Commonwealth. Hi, my name is Charlene Nabulime and I'm a political activist. How did I get started? Well, my journey is quite interesting. I came to America as a refugee when I was 17 years old, and my parents always taught me that anything worth doing is worth doing well. So I dabbled in so many different industries. I started off as a researcher for Chicago, Texas, Boston and New York software news, and quickly realized that no matter how smart I was or how well I outperformed my white colleagues, I wouldn't be advancing without a college degree in the corporate arena. So I left, and I worked at Babson School of Modeling as a modeling instructor, at Oscar Drug, in the healthcare industry on and off as a caregiver because that job was always available, and in the restaurant industry. And about 11 years ago, I realized that I had to go back to school and get a college degree because every time I tried to get a new job or apply to something that I wanted, that piece of paper was missing. And they didn't care what your college degree was in. Did you go to college? Was the elephant in the room. So I went back to Emerson to pursue a degree in journalism. I've always wanted to be a storyteller. As you can tell, I love stories. I think that each and every one of us has a story worth telling and worth hearing. So I got a degree in broadcast journalism, and I'll never forget graduating and with my daughter and my family there cheering me on, and it was a very special moment. I always tell parents to model what they want their kids to do, and I was thinking, if I want Elizabeth to go to school, to go to college, I better go to college. The huddle of trying to break into the industry as a Black woman, as a foreigner, and somebody with the last name Nabulime, I think, I kid you not, every time I think about this, I always tell people that when they see the name Nabulime, they think I can't even speak English, because not only was I never given a chance, I never even got an interview to all the TV stations and media companies and newspapers that I applied to. So I kind of put that on the back burner because as a single mom, I had a child to feed in private school, and I had things to do. So I continued working and volunteering on every Democratic campaign that I could get my hands on. When I was chair of Governor Paul Patrick's African Council, I was part of a team that mobilized the African community around civic engagement and voter registration. So I was part of the work that we did to get our community to vote, and on the Obama campaign, the Elizabeth Warren, Juliet Kayyem, Attorney General Maura Healey. I mean, on every campaign that I volunteered on, I learned something. So I wasn't going into politics green, so to speak. So when I ran for office in Waltham as for City Council, I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted to do, the difference that I wanted to make. And so, by the way, my special election win created a few firsts. I was the first African American on the Waltham City Council, first woman councillor in my ward, and first Ugandan American to hold public office in the Commonwealth. But on City Council, the obstacles that I faced were structural and systemic racism. So you have to realize that in any kind of political office, you are going to find people who think you can't because of the color of your skin or your background or your accent. And so you have to learn to have a tough skin. You have to know who you are, what you're fighting for, and who you're fighting for. And so for me, it was, you know, I was fighting for my constituents, and did I fight? But the other piece of advice that I would give somebody who's trying to get into politics is volunteer on every in every local campaign. And the problem is we put so much emphasis on the presidential election and forget that one of the most important elections is your city government, because your city council decides on school budget, local infrastructure, roads, and so many things that directly affect your life. And so I would start local if I want to get into politics. That's my advice. And the other piece of advice is go back to school and get that degree. I saw an interview of an 86-year-old who was asked why she was getting her GED at that age. And her answer stuck with me. She said, once you stop learning, you stop living. So keep living, get that degree. Blessings.